Eric Santier, Cisco Larson, from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
In the middle of the anglais, c'est bon, huh? English
Yes.
is okay. Okay. All right. Very good. And I think you've met Zach Zilm, who's our
Yes.
representative in the Midwest here.
Hello.
And
Hello.
we just really just met Cisco about a month ago, and he's agreed to do a promotion on the Chinon, the Clos de Sauterlou, and it's just terrific. It's all brand new for us, and it's very exciting. So Cisco has a very well established old store in Memphis, and he has a wine club, 600 members, 600 people, and they do monthly offers. And in September, he's offering the 2019 Clos de Sauterlou. So he likes to record like a little interview and get to know you, get to know the producer, get to know more about the wine and so forth. So I'm going to let him. I'm sure he has some questions for you, but if you'd like to kind of present the domain to us and give a little bit of your background to start, that would be great.
I have a vineyard of 14 hectares in Chinon, in Ligré. So it's on the left bank of the appellation of the river, the Vienne. I have 13 hectares of Cabernet Franc and 1 hectare of Chinon. And the specificity is all the vines are in a specific location, le Sauterlou, with a specific cuvée, Clos du Sauterlou. And it's a terroir of clay and flint soil, very specific for this part of the appellation. So it's how can I say, it's a vineyard with on the top of hill and on the slot, so with a good exposition. So for instance, we don't have damage with frost or with this kind of a problem of weather. We have a very good location for that. And so it's a quite old vineyard, old wine estates in Chinon. And Sauterlou is also well known in the appellation. It's one of the top location for vine.
And it's an actual clos. There's a wall.
And exactly,
wall what's the surface? How large is the surface of the Clos de Sauterlou?
7 hectares.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And you only make Rouge. You make Chinon Rouge from that site.
In the Clos, yes, but in Sauterlou we have the white, but it's not in the Clos.
Okay. And I always forget. And the translation of Sauterlou is.
So it's in English. It's a location where in the past the wolf came to drink, because
right, so there was
is
a well
water, a spring, in fact.
And then what other wines do you make at the domain, Eric?
So in fact, so in terms of range, I have one rosé, Chinon rosé, one white, and so 4 red Chinon. So the first one, the first cuvée is Le Petit Chemin, the small path, if I can translate. I have Chemin de Traverse, so it's the same selection of Petit Chemin, but with a vinification without any sulfite. And I have Clos du Sauterlou. Clos du Sauterlou is the main cuvée of the domain. And I have the Grand Saut. Grand Saut is selection of the old vine of Clos du Sauterlou, and with aging in oak barrels. So it's more a Chinon that you can keep many years if you want.
Okay. And you should tell Cisco a little bit about your background, how you got started, because Eric, I don't think you grew up in the wine wine world.
So,
No.
I'm from Chinon, but not from a family in the wine business. So first, I work in food industry in France, and I spent 8 years in the Middle East in Dubai, and I work for a company who we make the promotion of the food products from France in the Middle East. So not the wines, but cheese, dairy products, poultry, vegetables, etc. And in fact, in the meantime, I was still interested in the wine. So in 2010, I decided to change of job. In fact, so I went back to France, and I went to Bordeaux for 1 year, and I study viticulture and enology in Bordeaux. And after that, I went back to Chinon, and I worked for Bernard Baudry during 2 years before have the opportunity to take over the Dozon wine estate in 2013.
So you apprenticed with one of the great producers of Chinon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a great place to study. And then
with
purchased
Bernard
this old
and his son
domain,
Mathieu.
So what was that? Sorry.
With Bernard and his son Mathieu. Mathieu.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then this old estate, the Domaine Dozon, became available. We used to import the wine from Mr. Dozon.
Yes.
And then from his daughter. And what I think his daughter got married, and
exactly.
Wanted to sell. Yeah, she married a guy from Bourgogne. So
exactly.
Yeah. And luckily for us, and Eric purchased the property, and I have to say I liked Mr. Dozon's wines, and but the wines have really become outstanding. I mean, the quality's really gone up, and the consistency too, and it's been great to see. So then you started working organically in bio.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I think, when will the certification be? Is it after this year?
So I started the conversion last year. So
Okay.
the vineyard will be certificated in 2013. So the first vintage will be 2023, sorry. 2023.
23, yeah.
23, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have, so it's EcoCert certification.
Okay. So this 2019, was that produced bio? Was that organic?
Yeah. No, 2000, the coming vintage will be in conversion.
Yeah, but I mean, it was
not
it was
certificate.
maybe not certified, but it was the technique was organic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, so in terms of your farming practices, so if you're in conversion or going organic, that means no chemical fertilizers, no chemical herbicides,
absolutely.
or anything like that.
Only organic products for the vine, and how can I say, we work the soil, with
Yep.
we want to have very more life in our soil. So we have practiced to of course we don't use a pesticide or this kind of products, and we want to preserve all the not the vegetable, but the herbs, and we to have vine in how can I say, in a good shape, in fact.
Right. So okay, and then at what sort of rendement do you usually work at? Do you work at a lower yield? Do you do a green harvest? Do you do vendage à vert in the vineyards, or?
Yes, of course we do green harvest. We do ébourgeonnage. I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it'd be bud, the type of pruning.
Yes.
You take off the buds. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and we don't we keep the leaf, the lift,
Yeah.
yeah, because has now since for let's say 3-4 years we have very hot summer, so we prefer to keep all the vegetation on the grapes in order to try to have not too much degrees in terms of alcohol.
To protect
Interesting.
the grapes.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he's saying too, to have in the end less alcohol, because I suppose if the energy of the vine is going into making leaves, you won't have a overripe grape.
Yeah.
Or too ripe of grapes. You have a better balance of sugar and acidity.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
The grape.
Yeah.
Wow, I remember I've in our business, the September, October harvest time. It's our busy time of year. So we never travel. At least we shouldn't. We're not supposed to travel that time of year. But one year, and I think it was 2003, the big heat wave year, canicule year, and I was in Bordeaux at the harvest, and it was just unbelievable because the growers, they hadn't seen anything like this. It was just a shock, and of course, a lot of them were going through the usual sort of formula. They were doing the leaf pulling and cutting the leaves and all that. And I remember seeing vineyards where like one side was raisins because of the side that was exposed to the sun. On the other side, it was like regular grapes, and right before the harvest, it was unbelievable. I mean, I never seen anything quite like it. But a lot of grapes got burnt, if you will. They got kind of scorched from the heat, and I think from that point, everyone started saying, okay, well, we can't do the usual formula anymore. The usual technique. We have to do some different things, like you're saying, leave the leaves, to get a better balance. It's interesting to think about that. So, okay. Do you harvest mechanically? You harvest by hand, or a little bit of both? Or
both. For the white is 100% manually, and for the red, it's, let's say, now it's 40% by with a machine, and 60% by manually.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I want to increase the part of the manual harvest.
Okay. Why is that?
Because
why do you think it's better?
in fact, when I worked with Bernard and Matthew, so they harvest 100% manually, and so for me, I saw the difference of quality, and also it's I think it's better for not for the vine, not for the vineyard, but maybe for the soil for to have to keep your vineyard in a good shape, in fact.
Okay, interesting.
Is it,
So-
so Eric, does that have to do with having machinery in the vineyards, like in the rows?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it compacts the soil less, right? So
Exactly.
you're really retaining the microflora much better if you're not driving a tractor over it. Yeah.
So pretty soon you'll have a horse.
Yeah. No, but the problem, we have to find people to make to harvest.
Yeah, right.
It's in France, it's not easy now.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and in terms of vinification, what is your technique for the Sauterlou?
First, we put the grapes in tank, and we try to make a pre-fermentation maceration. In fact, so we don't want to start too quickly the fermentation, in order to have a first step of maceration in order to try to have the color and fruity flavors.
Right.
And after that, so we, of course, the fermentation is starting, and we don't use industrial yeast, levure.
Mhm.
We
Yeast,
use
yeah.
natural yeast.
The natural yeast. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
after that we make remontage.
Mhm. Yeah. We say pumping over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But soft remontage. We don't want to make a very strong extraction of the tannins of we try to keep fresh and balanced wine, in fact.
Right. When you do the cold maceration before fermentation, how long do you do that for?
It depends, but more or less 5 to 7 days.
Really? Okay. I
Yeah.
thought about a week. Okay. Interesting.
And when you're using natural yeast, do you have to use a P de Couve type?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that kind
in
of,
order to have this, it depends of the year. Sometimes we don't need pied de cuve, but if there is if the fermentation doesn't start, we need to use pied de cuve. Yes.
and that's basically a small amount of the grapes that you kind of take off that start to ferment by themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with this wine, you talked about the leaf coverage, keeping the leaves on, and Cabernet Franc is in a lot of places known for the pyrazines that can be present in the wine and the grape. How do you like, because I love this style of wine, and when we tried it, when Zach brought this to Memphis, everyone at the tasting was raving about it, and all my coworkers were just like, this wine is amazing. When we told them we were using it for wine club, they were like, yes, of course you chose this wine. How do you like pyrazines? How do you like it to present in your wine? Because there are some people that have green pepper that shows up so huge, but that's not the primary note on this wine for sure. It's way more complex.
In fact, I try to wait a very good maturity for the harvest, in fact. And if you have grapes with very good balance in terms of sugar, but also acidity, and also because in 2018 and 2019, and also 2020, we had the chance to have very good maturity for the harvest. So, and after that is during the vinification, we try to keep this freshness and the fruity taste.
Yeah.
So I had a winemaker long ago told me that the aromas of bell pepper, green pepper, were the result of producing too much, of basically an overproduction
Yeah.
of the vine. That was a function of that, and it wasn't really a, how can I say, what wasn't exactly a characteristic of the, or desired one of the grape. But I know I'm not too fond of the vegetal aromas and so forth. But yeah, you run into it so much in reviews of, at least you used to, of California Cabernets, and they would talk about, oh, the bell pepper and everything, and it's like, I never thought that was a positive characteristic, but I guess question of taste, but I never, they kind of presented, the reviewers wrote it up as like it was a characteristic of the grape, and then this guy said, oh, that's if you produce too much, you're going to get that characteristic. But anyway, as one guy told me one side, he said, I like my vegetables on my plate, not in my glass.
So glad you said that. I was just about to say that, but I thought, man, it just seems too on the nose. Yes, that's right.
Anyway, okay. So
Eric, what about
so your fermentation is in a neutral tank?
Sorry?
The fermentation is in neutral cuve?
Yes, in concrete tank.
Okay. But it's got a lining. It's got like a fiberglass lining, or it's not the Béton Brut. I mean, is there
yes
something
no, with
inside?
with a sear inside.
Okay, with wax lining.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Very cool.
That's a lot of work.
Yes.
You have to replace that wax every year, right? Or are you able to keep it?
No. We don't need to put every year wax. It's a permanent, quite a permanent wax. Yes.
Just don't let it get too hot.
Yeah, right.
Sorry?
Just don't let it get too hot, right?
Yeah.
So
there's no barrel
no,
on the
on Clos du Sautolou, no barrels.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited to try some of the other the other Chinons that you're producing. That I love to try the rosé, and then if we can ever get any of the white, that would be awesome too. These all sound so exciting. What we talked about Borgaya earlier, and as another region that produces Cab Franc. What makes the Cab Franc and Chinon different from that in Borgaya or Bordeaux or other regions, or just in your monopole alone?
I think it's a good combination of the soil and the weather, especially for the last year, because we have warm temperature during the summer, but when we harvest in September or beginning of October, we have no rains but no warm temperature, so we can we have very mature grapes, but we can have also the freshness of the Cabernet Franc, in fact.
And you said that you were in the food industry before, and I can only imagine how fun selling wine in Dubai was. But but why did you end up in Chinon? As you know, when you're coming back and you studied in Bordeaux and obviously found a great place to apprentice. Why did you choose Chinon?
Because my family was there, and in fact, I didn't want especially to choose a wine estate in Chinon, but for sure in the Loire Valley.
Okay.
Yeah. So I tried to find something in Saumur-Champigny, in Bourgueil, and in Chinon, and because I love this kind of wines, in fact.
And I think, Eric, you mentioned earlier that you grew up in Chinon. Your
Yes,
family's from
exactly.
Chinon, so it's kind of going home.
Yeah.
Cisco, Eric was nice enough. We have some samples of his other wines. I'd be happy to send them down to you. We have the Petit Chemin and the Coteau de Travers. We have the natural, the unsulfured wine. The rosé is exceptional. It's really, in fact, it's one of the real sort of sleeper wines in our rosé offer. And I think we have a few cases left. I think we still have six or seven cases. But anyway, we'll get those down to you. You find them very, very interesting. The Chinon rosé, Eric, it's been a delightful surprise. I mean, it's always successful in our offer, but always among the very most interesting wines that we have in that offer. So it's a nice departure from Provence. Provence is becoming so dominant in the rosé business, and nice to put a little change in there. So.
Yeah, I'm excited to try all that. Thank you, Eric, for sending that over to Michael and the rest of the crew. That's great.
See, Eric, we actually use these samples. We don't just drink them at home. So
Okay.
it's not for the Vin de Maison.
Yeah.
We like it. Very interested in the new ground vin too. I haven't. Do we have a sample of that, Mike?
Of which one?
The new, or new to me anyway. The Grand.
The old vine. No, we don't. No, I think that's Eric's house wine, actually. But yeah, I'm sure. Do you get many visitors to the winery? Do you have many?
Yes. Yeah.
Probably sell quite a few bottles to them coming through. Well, my understanding of Chinon, and Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, was always that you kind of had maybe three kinds of soil, three kinds of terroir. Right down close to the river, you had the light sandy soil that made light, fresh, fruity wines, and many of the producers make what we used to call it the cuvée de printemps, the spring cuvée that they released early, and you drank it. It was very fresh and light, fruity, and kind of drank it year to year. And then as you go further off the river and go up a little bit, you start to get gravel and gravel, clay, and some limestone. And then when you get further up on the slope, you've got clay and limestone, and that's where the more serious wines are made. And it seems that many of the domains have vines on all three of the soils. It's, quite often they do. But I mean, would you agree with that description?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And with this soil, we have very different style of red wines. Yeah.
Right. So where you're at, I mean, you're pretty, fairly a ways off of the river. Are you mostly you're like clay? I think and you mentioned Clos de Sauterlou. You've got flint, you've got the silex.
Yes.
But I think your soil is mostly clay. Do you have a limestone subsoil, or
I have a little part of limestone for the vine for the Grand Saut and also for the white. The Chinon is on soil of limestone soil.
Right. Okay. and the like the Petit Chemin and Coteau Cheverse is mostly clay, I guess.
It's on the top of the hill, but it's on sand and clay.
Say okay, sand
Yeah.
and clay. Gotcha. Okay. But it is interesting because all the producers will make these different cuvées, and it's good to know which is which.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
going into it. So, and I think Bourgogne is. I always think of that as a gravel soil.
Yes, Saint-Nicolas de Bourgueil, it's 100% gravier gravels.
Yeah.
Bourgueil, you have gravels, but you have also limestone.
Which was that? Where do you have the limestone? Bourgogne. Yeah. Okay. Just
Yeah.
now. So Saint Nicolas is the gravel, and I'm thinking, Cisco, if you compare it to Bordeaux, well, I mean, the best Cab Franc is in the right bank, and that's pretty well. That's a tough call because mostly clay, but the great Cheval Blanc that's on that is a high portion of and Figeac have a lot of Cabernet Franc, and they're down on the gravelly part, so it's kind of interesting. But I was going to say Cab Franc in Bordeaux is kind of clay and limestone essentially, but there's some great Cab Franc on gravel there too, so interesting. So I don't know, I can't tell you why what the difference and why there's a difference, but there certainly is, right? I mean, the Cab Franc from Bordeaux is quite different from the Cabernet Franc from Chinon and Saumur and other places, but
And it's in Bordeaux, it's for blending.
right, okay. Right. But they always say, at least Bruce have told me, that the great years in Saint-Emilion are when the Cabernet Franc gets completely ripe. That's when you have a great vintage in Saint-Emilion. So I think 2019 was a heat wave year, very warm year.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So you had excellent ripeness.
Mm.
And how about in 2020? Is it similar or?
No, we had not very warm temperature during the summer, so we have more freshness on this vintage, more let's say a classic style, because 2018 and 2019 for Chinon wine, we have very powerful taste, in fact, with 13 degrees of alcohol. So it's not usual for us. So 2020, you have also a very good balance, but with it's a little bit more easy drinking.
Lower alcohol, you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
13 degrees, nowadays we think of that as low alcohol.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I tried the 18 and the 19, I was like, man, these are fresh drinkable wines. So it's very well integrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is we wanted to get Chinon back into our wine club for a long time, and because Cab Franc is a grape that we really like, and a bunch of the wine nerds that are in our club have been introduced to it at some point, but not on the grand scale of everybody gets a bottle. And I think it's a grape type that, at least in Memphis, at least, is not as widely appreciated versus some of the other, Bordeaux varietals that you see gaining popularity year after year. So,
Sure. No, it's a great kind of change of pace, if you will. And Cisco, have you ever had a chance to go there? Have you ever been in Chinon?
no, I've never been to France, and after both of our conversations today, I'm like, man, all right, how do we plan a trip that takes me to both the Loire and Bordeaux, and go hang with Eric and see what he's up to, and stop by and see Stefan and Paula, and probably loop Michael and Zach in on the trip too. So
we know how to do it. So
We do.
okay.
we'll work on that work on that future. But no, I say because Chinon, it's a delightful town. It's it's an old medieval town, and it's right on the Vienne River, and summertime it's quite delightful. I seem to end up there in the winter when there's nobody there, but it's still nice at that time. But and there's a tremendous amount of history in the area. It was the seat. It was the ancestral home of the Plantagenet family. So and the old castle is up there, and that's where Richard the Lionheart was from, and Henry II, and these guys. And I was always big on medieval history and the knights and all that stuff, and I've always enjoy going there and kind of taking in that atmosphere, taking in that feel. But delightful place, and just happens to have terrific wines. So a great combination.
Eric, do most of your visitors come from Paris or from internationally, or where do the most of the people, or locally from the Loire Valley?
No, during the summer, we have visitor from Paris, from all the region from France. Usually, we have also people from Belgium. But this year not too much. We have no English. Usually we have a lot of English people, but with the situation we have few people from London, but not too much. Of course, no American. But let's say it's usually it's 80% from France and 20% from Europe, and few visitors from States or other foreign countries.
That's great.
I think historically a lot of British. I mean, historically,
Yes,
a lot of British come. Yeah, till the COVID thing. Yeah. I'm sorry, Cisco, you were going to ask something.
I was going to ask if Eric did you get a chance to watch any of the Euro, the football championships, or the French Grand Prix recently? Those are two things that I've gotten into pretty big.
I saw the match, but in fact, I'm more a rugby fan.
Okay, cool. There's a big sevens tournament coming to Memphis in October.
Okay.
I think it's like the Sevens Premier League. They're doing like a weekend tournament or exhibition in Memphis. That's
okay.
Excited about.
Of rugby.
Yep.
Wow, a brutal game. The French claim to have invented it. We always think of rugby as British. But the French say the origins are in southern France.
The origin is British. Yes, absolutely.
You think it's British? I think in
Yes.
Bordeaux they claim it they claim it down there in south of Toulouse, but hard to say. Well, back to Chinon. What do you like to? What food do you recommend with your wines? With the 2019 with the Soda Luc?
So you can enjoy with I don't know. I'm not sure you can find in States, but with rillette.
Okay, sure.
With pork pate.
Yep.
Right.
But I think you can enjoy with roasted chicken.
Okay.
Of course.
Of course, with cheese.
Of course, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had it with a like a rabbit stew one time. It was really good.
Yeah.
Very good with that. But I'm wondering if it's a barbecue wine. Because it is, the first thing you mentioned was fatty pork,
Yeah.
Fatty pork, yeah. Especially the more drier styles of barbecue, right. I think fits really well with Chinon. Depending on the sauce. If the sauce is too sweet, then it gets in the way. you know, but
where
the
Cisco's
dry
from,
rub,
he's
dry style rib.
famous for the barbecue there.
Yeah, and our Memphis barbecue sauce is a little bit sweeter, usually on the sweeter side. So I'll stop the recording for this, but maybe something like a Carolina barbecue sauce with a little.
Oh, hey now. What?
That might.
Where? Who?
Yeah, but yeah, I think barbecue chicken, like Eric said, would be a roasted chicken would be a great pairing. Like the Cornish game hen we were talking about.
I was gonna say, get those game hens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I like those guys. They're very tasty. So
yeah. Well, Eric, what are you eating tonight?
Sorry?
What's for dinner tonight for you?
In fact, it's a barbecue.
Nice.
Because this week we have a very hot temperature for the season, but till tonight, because this weekend we are expecting rains.
So you're gonna try
so
and
we
get
will
outside.
enjoy tonight.
Yeah, get outside while you can.
Yeah.
That's great.
Have you had a lot of rain this year? Because there's been
during May and June, yes.
Yeah. I was just reading about Champagne. It's just a tremendous amount of rain in Champagne.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. You mentioned the rain. If you're working organically, if you're organic in the vineyards, and you get an attack of some rot or some mildew, I mean, so you do the copper sulfate and that's it, right? I mean, that's basically all you can do.
Yes, of course. So,
yeah.
In fact, you have to make treatments of the vine more often, and in fact, the only solution is to protect the vineyard before the rains.
Okay. And how about if you get an attack of some kind of spiders or insects that are that kill the plants? I mean,
but
what do you do?
You can use also specific products that you can use when you are on organic way, in fact.
Yeah. Because it's we're amateur gardeners here. We do we just grow flowers, but every once in a while we have a plant that something attacks it, the plant dies. We have no idea. We have all of a sudden, it's going great, it's looking good, and all of a sudden the leaves are brown and they're drooping, and we have no idea. And I can't imagine seeing that on the scale of a vineyard. I think we make it. I think it must be very difficult to be organic on the large scale. That's on the large scale of a vineyard. And a great, certainly a great commitment too. Because you're taking some risk.
Yeah.
So Eric, you do all the farming and all the winemaking too.
Sorry?
Do you do the farming in the vineyard as well as the winemaking?
Yes, but not alone.
Right.
No. I don't spend all my time in the vineyard, unfortunately, but I try to supervise the farming, and I'm most involved in the cellar.
That's great. How many people do you have that work at your vineyard or in your vineyard?
Two permanent workers, but during the seasons we are 5, 6, and of course more during the harvest.
Great. Yeah, so a small operation as far as that
small
goes.
team, yes. Yeah.
That's great. So it's Friday. Was this like your last work day, or are you working through the weekend still in the farm?
I work on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because we are open from Monday to Saturday to sell at the domain, at the cellar. And tomorrow, Saturday, we have more people, of course, more visitor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a lot of local events too. He'll feature
Yeah.
producers of certain foods from the region. You know, have them come to the winery for a day. Sometimes some other I remember you had producers making sparkling wine that came to
Yeah.
the wine for an afternoon, and so there's a kind of like anything to draw people to the winery and generate some some retail sales and that kind of thing. So yeah, but you've always got something going on. It seems there's quite a bit of activity at the winery. So we have to figure out every way possible to sell some wine. That's all there is to it.
That's the truth for all of us, right, Michael? I think that's for everybody.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So just like your dinners, your Zoom, your virtual dinners and whatnot. Yeah, we got to do this stuff. So, but he's always got something going. So
yeah, Eric, I really appreciate your time and for sitting down with us and doing this. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about yourself or the domain that we might not have covered?
No, I think it's. I hope it's clear for you.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I think we covered a ton of great stuff, and it looks like you have a laser focus on Cab Franc and Chinon and are making some, the best Chinon that you can make. And I think it really stands out, and I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to introduce this wine to our wine club members.
Excellent.
That's great. Yeah, and we appreciate it too, Cisco. Believe me, because it's really been building some momentum, and we're selling more and more of Eric's wines every year, and it's really nice to see. And as we should, wines are good, so
yep,
we should sell more. We can't praise him too much. He's going to raise the prices. You have to be careful here. So have to tell him the wines are pretty good.
Yeah, keep it low key, a little low key.
No, it's great. It's been great to see the progress at the domain, and nice to see it's nice to see the reaction from the customers. That's really gives us great satisfaction. So.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Okay, well, again, they're in our warehouse. They got your name on them. We're just waiting for the order from the boys at Phoenix, and we're ready to go. So.
Excellent. So we just confirmed shipping dates with them this morning. So
good.
We'll have it coming in right before Labor Day weekend, actually. So everyone will get to pick up both of the wines from Michael Corso selections right before Labor Day weekend. That's when they'll get to see this video and check everything out.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Eric, thanks a lot. Appreciate your time. Appreciate the wine. Cisco, thank you again, and we'll get you a few of the sample bottles so you can get a better feel for the estate and see what Eric is doing there, the interesting things he's got.
Perfect.
So okay. And we
Eric, merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous.
Okay.
All right, Michael, Zach, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Cisco,
Bye, Michael. Bye, Zach.
If there's any follow-up or questions you have, be sure to let us know, okay?
Okay.
Zach, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll see you all.
Okay, bye all.
Bye-bye.